taking a tour today, I got to see the Hydra.
Hydra.
And I've never used one before. I've watched you guys' videos and have been super intrigued by it. And I do plan on going out to the range and trying it for myself. But that's kind of become one of the staple products that you guys have. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So the Hydra's definitely become a staple. It was interesting getting it to the point where we could launch it into the market with it being something so extreme and different, um, and taking that chance. But kind of rewinding on how it first came up, it was honestly our first product uh, program, if you want to call it, product concept development that we started in February of 2020, and it was based off of some training that was going on where lasers on the rail were being scooted back, so the assaulters could maintain their C clamp kind of grip and
When
when
you
they
say lasers for those listening, like the PEC
yeah, like so
systems.
PEC twos, Ingalls, so they're visual red lasers or IR lasers that you can see on night vision. But the way they were kind of manipulating it at night, they'd have to change their grip and they would obscure their laser. This was another time too when higher risers for red dots were coming online with Unity Tactical, and a lot of people were adapting to it, and seeing the benefits. So DJ came in the office one day and was super pissed on how these guys were doing training, and we just started putting risers on top of risers to figure out how we could get the laser high enough where it wouldn't obscure and have the red dot not be obscured either. So, not to make a long story longer, but we went through a napkin drawing, not knowing how to make a prototype to, eventually launching it and understanding manufacturing and things like that. The Hydra created not only freed up rail space, centered the gun's balance and weight, and allowed the end users to actually be able to see the red dot through your gas mask and night vision, which we were never able to see.
Yeah.
So, um, came out with version one and immediately went into version two.
That was
Uh,
the first thing I thought when I seen it because I recall, times shooting with the gas mask and trying to get a cheek.
yeah.
Well, and it's breaking the seal on the gas mask, right?
No, yeah. I mean, like us doing training, with gas mask and night vision, you'd never be able to see it. Like we faked it for so long. It was like, if we do this for real, like we got to use a red laser
Yeah.
during the day. I can't see the red dot, and so that's really enabled kind of the end user to be able to have quicker acquisition and be able to be more lethal.
It's a big. I mean, for me, again, I haven't shot it yet, so my biggest thought is like I'm losing that point of contact with my cheek on the stock. Is that a big transition for people?
Yeah. So I mean, what came out of that project was not only the optic riser. We quickly realized that there's magnifiers that go behind the optic. So partner with Unity Tactical again, and they made a flip to center for a magnifier to flip up to our optic height at 291. And we realized that because of the raised optic, now your cheek touch points were changing, and started developing a cheek riser that would clamp into specific butt stocks at three different heights to kind of give whatever person their ability to customize to maintain their cheek touch point. But also made it short enough to where, like, when butt stocks are collapsed, you can still fully
Yeah.
operate the charging handle. And most factory laser cables are 7 inch, so those are too short for the Hydra to come back, and it's the most single failing item that will happen on a laser. So partner with Unity again, great company, and they make us 10 custom 10 and 14-inch cables. So make it a complete system, and it's literally now all over the world with our partners.
Yeah.
With again, top tier, high end operators internationally. It definitely makes me happy to give them the capability and
Yeah.
provide it.
I'm pretty stoked by it, and watching you guys at GBRS out shooting it. You're not using the cheek risers, most of you guys, right? You're just head up.
It's individual, yeah. I
It's
mean,
all
like,
individual preference.
yeah,
So this sounds like, as we're talking about it, super tactical, like operators, law enforcement, maybe SWAT teams, but this is not a product just for. This could be a home self defense
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of civilians, like I said, entry level to, you know, super high end tier one, but entry level, you have the budget for a laser and a red dot. Like there's a lot of them that put it on and use it.
And for
Um,
those that don't have a laser, I've seen you guys had a just
yeah, so
just a red dot.
we quickly, so when we launched Hydra V1 and I started development of Hydra V2, we started getting a lot of feedback from law enforcement of like, we love this optic, love the height. We're never gonna have a laser. So stopped Hydra V2 and switched into a standalone optic mount to provide that height on different footprints and platforms, um, to provide it for law enforcement, those
Yeah.
guys. So yeah, it's been interesting and fun to learn how to draw something on a napkin and all the way get it to launching and moving on to version 2, the manufacturing process and design. I realized engineers are not all just engineers. They have specific roles in design and manufacturing and everything else. So it's good. I love it. Every little intricacy of it.
Well, you're not an engineer, you're an operator turned CEO. But
Yeah.
one of the things you talked about being on a napkin, I noticed when you took us through the tour is that your R&D's place was just a place with a you had a big giant notepad and you were drawing and developing. How'd you? I mean, I know when you're like operating, you're always trying to customize your own gear and
Mhm.
what's going to work best for you in the battlefield. But now you're doing it for thousands, if not millions, of people.
Yeah, I mean, since I was little, I always loved architecture and drawing
Yeah,
and, you know, call it old school. I know there's a lot of programs out there, but starting with a pen and paper and kind of drawing your idea. And it's great now. It's like I can draw the idea and get it quickly prototyped. Um, but I think with the end user experience we have too, you know what people are going to complain about because we got products all the time that were like 90% amazing. But if you didn't spend that last 10%, it was like, "Ah," like it's great, but it could have been better. And
yeah.
so we really try and exhaust that time because it's like, oh, like they're definitely going to complain about this. So let's take the time and change it. So,
Yeah, I love seeing that. I work with Smith and Wesson and Vortex quite a bit. One of the things I love about those two companies is they're they take that end user feedback and modify their products. One of the things I always complained about with optics was the gas or the oil getting on the optic,
hmm,
and that Smith and Wesson's new M&P they took that feedback. Myself and Travis Kennedy, who's another he's a former team guy and ambassador. We were talking about that. The R&D guys went in and they made a cut in the back of the right in the back of the chamber that shoots that gas forward and keeps it off the optic. And it was just like
awesome.
really cool to see the end user feedback make it to R&D and improve the product. So
Yeah.
I think that's super cool.